Generation X. In general terms, those born between 1965 and 1980. Latchkey kids. Independent. Existentialism. Modern philosophy focusing on personal experience, human ability, and responsibility in an otherwise meaningless universe. We're the cause. This is the effect. We're the Gen X Existentialists. Welcome in, everyone, to the Gen X Existentialist podcast. My name is Scott.
And I'm Bunny.
And we are here to rattle your brain for the next 20 minutes or so, coming up with random topics via MegaWheel and Magnificent. We will chat about them. And for everyone out there, we have accepted a lot of questions and added them to the wheel. We've got over 1,300 things on the wheel now. So if you want to email us at
genexistentialist@gmail.com.
And that is GEN, letter X, ISTENTIALISTS @gmail.com. So with that, we will give MegaWheel the Magnificent a spin, and we will let her just dance around. We've really got to change that picture. It's just horrifying. And our first topic for the day is, if you had to identically repeat any single year of your life to date without changing a thing, which year would you relive? That just sounds horrifying to me. Like, I can't change anything. I just have to relive a year. That's like a horror movie. Even if it's a good year, I can't imagine doing that.
All right. 18 or 22. Those would be my years.
Okay, why 18 was like end of high school?
End of high school, summer with my parents.
Okay.
It was just a good year.
Getting Minnie Mouse's number at Disney World.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But it was just a good year. All my friends were still around.
Mm.
My parents were happy and healthy. I was happy and healthy. I was in the prime of my life. Felt unstoppable. Just graduated high school. It was a good feeling. 22, I was in a good relationship at the time. I was free as a bird. I just felt like the world had a lot of magic in it still for me that year.
Okay. That
would be it. That's as much as I could say without blowing identities and stuff for people.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
Yeah, for me it's just it just sounds like a horrifying, even for a good year, to have to live it over again, knowing what's going on, what's going to happen. Even the good stuff, I wouldn't want to do that.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, you can't even remember like what you did last week. So the chances of you remembering an entire year, all the ups and downs, or think about how much new stuff you'd have because you've forgotten all about it. Have a little deja vu, but you'd be fine.
Then I would probably go 17.
17.
Because that would be between junior and senior year in high school. Mm-hmm. Which was a good summer.
Yeah, that was a good summer.
Because unlike some people that did Governor's Scholar, I just did this Leadership Institute thing at Thomas More. So I didn't lose a month of my summer. I only lost a week. And I had the rest of the summer, and like we hung out. Mm-hmm. I was working. I read the books that we had to read for the summer reading thing, with the exception of one that I still haven't read to this day.
Silas Marner.
No, I read Silas Marner. I didn't enjoy Silas Marner, but I did read it.
Nobody enjoys Silas Marner.
I think that was in sophomore year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was with Mr. Carney. No, there was one book that we had to read between junior and senior year that I got like 4 pages in. And I was just like,
so which one? You got to
spill
the beans.
No.
Was it Rebecca? Was it Rebecca? I fucking hate that book.
No, okay,
sorry.
All right. It was Centennial.
Centennial's dreadful.
Yeah, still to this day, I haven't read it.
It's so long, and it's so not. I mean, just watch the movie. It's fine.
It wasn't even that. It was I got like 4 pages in, and I hated it. Mm-hmm. And if you assign me a book, I'm going to read it. But I could not get past it. And you know how I passed the test and took part in discussions in class? I read like the first paragraph of each chapter. That's what I ended up doing.
There you go.
And that was enough to pass everything and make people think that I read it. So for I forget even which teacher it was. I just remember I didn't read it.
Sure.
It was awful.
But that was a good year for you, other than reading Centennial.
I think so, because,
Okay.
I mean, I was playing music, but I still didn't recognize what it was to play music and how joyful it should have been, as opposed to, okay, we're in high school, but we need to work hard because we're going to be rock stars. Like, come on, man. That was just stupid. I didn't realize it. And it gets back to something that you referenced in a previous episode. Like, I get way too serious about things, and I recognize that about myself. But it's stuff like that I wish I could go back and recognize how joyful and exciting and wonderful it was to simply be playing music with friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I missed that a lot. It's something I've tried to rectify over the last 20 years, believe it or not.
Emphasis on the rectum.
Exactly. And so on that note, we will give MegaWheel the Magnificent another spin. I don't know if I like the new sound. I like the applause at the end.
Okay.
So we may stick with this. Okay, this is another long one. This is a really long one. Holy crap. Okay. Would you rather wake up each morning to find that a random animal appendage has replaced your non-dominant arm, or permanently replace your bottom half with an animal bottom of your choice, not human?
Sure. I'd rather do the animal bottom.
Okay.
I don't want to wake up with some porpoise flipper for an arm.
Well, it wouldn't necessarily be a porpoise flipper.
I find terrible in a business suit.
The fact that it's only one could be problematic. Because,
Yeah.
like, if you give me eagle wings, that's cool, because now I can fly.
You only get one wing.
Yeah, that's like, what's the point of that?
And try to put on a dress jacket with a wing.
Yeah, it's just the random, of course, not even that, random animal appendage. So I could wake up with, like, a horse penis.
Oh, it's just an appendage. You
Yeah,
could have
it just
a hog
says,
leg sticking out of your
yes, random animal
That's not
appendage has replaced your non-dominant arm.
Although
So
having an elephant trunk for an arm would be pretty fucked up.
Exactly. See, so there could be something fun with that. You could have like a random like tusk in place of your left arm. I mean, anything.
I just
could happen.
go straight centaur. Would be me. I'd have a big old horse's body.
And see, that's what gets it, because the animal bottom of your choice, so you get to pick.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would go with a horse though, because I don't like horses.
I don't either, but they have that, mask of virility. The horses.
Fair.
You know, I could run around. I could run in races.
See,
I could still wear a business suit up top and have a horse's butt on the bottom.
I'm picturing more like a goat, like being what's the mythical creature that's part goat, part human?
I have no idea.
Like what's Pan?
A satyr or whatever.
A satyr.
Okay.
That I could see that.
Okay.
That would be interesting, because then I could go around and people would look at my cloven hooves and think that I'm an imp or a devil, which would be infinitely fun, especially on like Halloween.
Okay.
I'd probably get shot by someone with an unregistered handgun, by the way, hearkening back to last episode. Don't shoot the satyr. It's just Scot.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that was a long question for a short answer.
Yeah, that was just kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
So we will give MegaWheel the Magnificent another spin.
What's nice is that we get rid of the questions now as opposed to just forgetting about them. And
I've been hitting the wrong button.
oh no!
Man, I suck. That's terrible. This is a real quick one.
Okay.
Are you more into brains or looks?
I'm more into brains when it comes down to it.
Mm.
A person with the right kind of brain,
Yeah.
can be sexy, no matter what their body looks like.
Yeah.
But of course, I don't turn down looks. You have the rare combination of brains and looks, and you just won the lottery. So.
Yeah, I mean that's what you're looking for. And a super attractive person without much in the brain department just isn't that sexy or appealing, because it's all surface, and surface fades and surface changes, and most of the supermodels that you see, kids, When they wake up in the morning, they look just like you do when you roll out of bed. So it doesn't really matter very much. I fully go into the brain department there too. Brains are way more important, but looks are what gets you turned on.
Yeah, I mean,
too,
quite honestly, I'd say personality even trumps brains, to be perfectly honest with me.
Yeah, that would be the third part of the triangle. Brains, personality, and looks. It all kind of, if you can hit each one of those and create a nice little equilateral triangle.
The Triforce.
You're winning the lottery there, kids.
There you go.
So that was a quick one. We're going to give MegaWheel another spin. There are so many questions on this thing that it's just rolling.
That sounds promising.
Would you rather be covered in fur or covered in scales?
Scales.
Why?
Because I don't have to comb scales. Yeah, you get matted fur all over you. You know, your cat's hawking up fur balls right and left. You know, you get mites and all sorts of stuff. I'm not interested in that.
But see, I think you get mites and stuff with scales too.
You probably do, but I think it'd be a lot easier to keep myself clean with it if I had scales. Now, I'm talking like reptile scales, not fish scales. Yeah, I don't want fish scales because I don't want the ick, as the kids say nowadays.
But see, do lizards... So you're talking like snakes then?
Yeah, snakes, scales. Lizards, you know, something like that.
Lizards usually just have skin, don't they?
A lot of them do, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's the weird part is like which one? Fish scales, yeah, that would just be awful.
I think I'd be a lot more sleek if I had scales rather than fur, where I had to constantly groom it and cut it and everything else.
See, I think I would go for fur, and I'm thinking like in the vein of a Wookiee.
Ew,
I could totally...
Think of how much combing and brushing you'd have to do to keep from getting big clumps of hair.
You never see Chewbacca combing. No, and my guess is if you have grown to that point, you've evolved to the point where you have fur like that there's a certain like grease mechanism that kind of keeps it lubricated and separated. Because you don't see Wookiees running around with like dreadlocks and stuff. And if they didn't...
I had a friend who had a dog that had gland issues.
Okay.
And you talk about the grease. This dog was greasy, and it smelled like bacon. But not good bacon, like bacon grease that had been set out for a couple of days grease. You know,
that's disgusting.
Yeah, the poor bastard. So that's what I worry about. I don't want to be greasy. I kind of want to be that dry, smooth.
Yeah. Well, see, I would still kind of go for the fur because then people could pet me.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun because like when I pet one of our cats or scratch their heads and stuff, it just the amount of bliss that they take from that. It would just, if I were covered in fur, I would also require the ability to purr. Basically, I'm saying I want to be a cat.
You want to be a cat.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, when it comes right down to it, cover me in fur, make me a cat. I'll be a 6 foot tall, overweight cat. And that would be fine.
Garfield.
Yeah, basically. Right. That would be absolutely fine.
He hates Mondays.
But he loves lasagna. Waka waka. And on that note, we'll give MegaWheel another spin. Yeah, that question led us to some weird places.
It did, yeah.
Some places the audience probably didn't want to see. Well, I already know both of our answers for this. Would you use a dating service to find a lover?
Yes.
Yeah. We both have.
Yeah, we've tried online dating like way back in the nascent internet days. You know,
way back when you could play games to get matched up with people.
That's true. Yeah, this was way back in the 90s.
Yeah,
I believe.
Believe it or not, kids.
Yeah, and you know, it wasn't bad. I got a couple of dates from it, and they were pretty good.
Yeah.
How was your online dating experience? Tell us about your dates.
Pretty crap, really. But
really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was the one girl that was kind of nice.
Give us more details here.
Well, she was kind of cool, and she, oddly enough, she was a friend of a girl you were dating at the time.
I met her on a dating service.
Yeah, so it all just kind of, it was weird how it matched up.
Mm-hmm.
But it got weird because there was a lot of talk behind the scenes. that just kind of like, why, what, how did you know that? Blah, 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 that kind of thing. And it got to the point where like, I don't even think we were really dating per se. We had seen each other a few times, and I called it off on Valentine's Day.
I remember this story. Listen to this cruel man tell you a cruel story of breaking a woman's heart on Valentine's Day.
The day of the week doesn't matter. I had enough. And it was just one of those things like, am I going to go over there, have this romantic dinner that she was planning?
And she had planned a dinner on top of it, and there it was, sitting cold.
No,
sitting there like a Memorial Day plate, in a restaurant, an empty chair.
I called it off early enough in the day that she didn't cook anything.
She was cooking for days.
No, I'm sure.
She had this turducken planned.
Yeah, I don't know that she had ever actually cooked before.
Oh man,
because we had
might have dodged a bullet.
Yeah, exactly. We had talked about some of the stuff she was getting and what she was going to try to do, and multiple times, if memory serves correctly, the phrase, "I'm not sure how this is going to turn out," came up. So, yeah, you're right. I may have dodged a real bullet there. Okay. But it was, yeah. I'm not against like online dating services, but don't assume that you're going to get the diamond in the rough there. Treat it as everything else. It's an experience. Have fun with it. It's
fun. You're dating. You're having fun.
Yeah, or trying to have fun. Trying to have some reasonable facsimile of fun.
I had a lot of fun.
So we will give MegaWheel the Magnificent another spin. Rolling down. This will be a good one. I'm sure this will take us to the end of the show.
All right.
Should the government provide a guaranteed basic income for all citizens? I'll answer first.
Oh, well, there you go. Took it right off my plate. There you go. Go for it.
I believe that in countries that do this, there is evidence to show that it does make for a better society because there aren't problems with people having to live on the streets. There aren't problems with people wondering how they're going to feed their kids. Now, does it seem like, from a typical American point of view, including mine, that it's a handout, that just, why are we doing this? I think it goes back into the knowledge that we've kind of set ourselves up this way. We've got this idea, pull yourselves up by your bootstraps, and we apply that to people that don't even have the money to buy boots and have no bootstraps with which to pull themselves up by. So I think that it would be a good idea. I think we are a rich nation if we actually taxed everyone equally and fairly, including billionaires, including corporations. We would have the money to fix our infrastructure, to do things like this, and actually strengthen the entire nation instead of just the few percent at the top. So I'm not going to say that the government should do this, but I think there's evidence to show that we could be a stronger nation if we did.
So what countries are you looking at that have UBI?
Thinking of Sweden, Norway. I think they're European.
Do they offer UBI? I wasn't aware.
I think so. There are a few over there that do. I without having the stuff in front of me in articles and stuff, I don't know. But in those nations that do, there is evidence that overall they are stronger, top to bottom. And that's the thing. Any nation is only as strong as its weakest links.
Oh, God, we're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And do we have the wherewithal? Do we have what we need to fix that? We do. We just don't. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. If you're looking at the homeless family on the street corner in Cincinnati saying, "Oh, just come on, get a job," you're missing the point that they can't. They're literally below that level where they can go out and do those basic things that we take for granted. If we elevate those folks, the ones that want it, because obviously there are plenty of people out there that are just going to throw the middle finger up at whatever you offer and just go and do their own thing. That's cool. I'm not talking about
quite a bit of homelessness is has to do with drug
Choice.
addiction and mental illness.
Right.
And
right.
those people can't be hired for doing anything because they're not functional in society.
Yeah, but the people that have medical conditions,
Sure.
the veterans that have PTSD, that have that trouble, that just need some help.
Sure.
If we help them, we could be a stronger nation. That's what I'm saying. And that part of that comes to some sort of guaranteed basic income.
My only caveat with that, I think it's a wonderful idea. I think especially as you get into a more technological age where people are going to be quickly rooted out of jobs. I mean, 90% of the work that's done in a white-collar workforce is make work, is what I call it. It's not
absolutely.
really necessary. The government is bloated beyond belief with people that sit around and file papers and move things from one side of the room to the other and make sure your signature is just right on things. And all of this stuff could easily be done by computers, robots, whatever,
AI.
one person. I mean, those people, unless you end up disappearing those people, there are going to be a lot of people with not much to do.
Yeah.
So would a UBI be good for stuff like that? Sure. My concern with UBI is that you give everybody the same amount of cash, whatever, everybody gets the same amount of cash, which is a great idea, but then the prices of everything goes up, just like it's been doing recently, where it's like, we got 2 hamburgers today from a fast food place, and it cost over $30.
Yep.
$30 for 2 hamburgers.
But
Okay?
here's the thing, and my counter to that is this. If we tax all the corporations equally, if we tax everybody equally, because it's not inflation that's driving those prices, it is quite literally, you look at the profits that corporations are reporting, they've gone steadily up at a steep incline. It's not because they're paying more for raw materials, it's because they're simply charging more.
Sure.
Universal basic income, people only have a certain amount that they can pay. Suddenly, okay, we can't charge that much for a burger anymore because we're not selling any. We need to bring them back down. Here's where our cost is. Cost plus 25. Okay, we're back to where we need to be.
I think you also have to look at commercial rent. You have to look at how much you pay for insurance for your employees and certain divisions. There's all sorts of, here I'm going to take the business guy's side on this one, just stepping over that fence for a second, where it's like, there are a lot of costs that go into running a business, and even more that go into running a successful business. It's all about location. Commercial prices for rental goes up exponentially when you move to an area where you're going to get higher volume, more people to come in and buy your stuff. So the whole idea of not paying your employees a livable wage for the miserable inflation that's going on in your country now, I have a feeling that UBI would just end up as another, well, here's some money coming in, but it's just not quite enough to pay your rent. It's just not quite enough to, buy your food for the month or to pay for your insulin or whatever else you need out there. Yeah. It's just shy because that's the way the world plays the game. It's a big money game. The corporations, sure, they're having record profits, but they're also lobbying to Congress people. And they're saying, hey, here's the deal. Why don't you buy a bunch of our stock?
Yeah.
And then we'll put you in a position of a nice cushy director position or whatever when you leave. So then they buy a bunch of stock. The corporation's profits go up. The Congress people, they make rules and regulations to benefit that company, which means their stock prices go even higher. Then everybody gets rich there, and then those people retire and go to their lucrative director positions.
Or the Supreme Court.
Yeah, it's a great grift, and it's been going on for a long time.
Decades.
I just don't see that changing anytime soon without something catastrophic.
Here in the United States, But you
so
look at it.
I don't think you're going to be able to tax people fairly because there's too many rules around.
Well, right. I mean, that's not going to happen.
I can offshore everything. I can launder my money through
and that's the
fake.
whole thing. There are too many of those rules.
Yeah.
It's quite simple. Flat tax. You made $3 billion this year. 10% of that is going to taxes.
But I gave $2 billion to some nonprofit that
hey,
my
that's
brother
your problem
runs.
for giving it away great job. I hope you feel. And that's the thing. You look at some of the billionaires in the country. They simply by choosing to could fix so much.
Sure,
they could be heroes.
It's not anyone's responsibility to pay for my
it's not. But
my
you know
food or my medicine or anything.
But you know what? If I'm Jeff Bezos,
sure,
I'm gonna start dumping money and trying to fix stuff because people already think I'm the great Satan for one reason or another. I don't think that. I think he's a smart businessman who came up with a great idea and has literally
our podcast
and has literally worked it. I mean, he's one of the most successful business people ever. You can't get mad at him for that. What I get mad about is look at the extra cash. Go do something good, man. You've got the money to be a hero. Do it. Why wouldn't you? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
If I had that much cash, dude,
That's why you don't.
Yeah, because I'm an idiot.
I mean, that's the unfortunate thing is that, the people that would actually go out and make the change, it's Peter Pumpkinhead all over again. I mean, you know the song by XTC?
Yeah.
Peter Pumpkinhead. If you haven't heard that one, kids, it's a big Gen X song. Go listen to it. It's off some album of theirs. I don't know. It's probably not the best stuff.
The people who would be heroes end up hosting podcasts.
I'm a hero, damn it.
And on that note, we're going to wrap this one up. This has been the Gen X Existentialists. You can get in touch with us. If you've got a question, go ahead and email it in, the genexistentialists@gmail.com. If you send a good enough question, we will just base a show on that question and have at it. Until next week, my name is Scott.
And I'm Bunny.
Have a good one.